Hi friends, how's everybody doing today? Really, how are you doing? It's so nice to be here with you again. My name is Tosca Reno, and yesterday I had a great deal of fun showing you how to make bone broth. And I'm going to just finish that discussion today and hopefully help you find a little bit of calm in the craziness that's happening right now all around the world. So, first of all, welcome, welcome. Take a deep breath. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Our immune systems know exactly what to do. We were born with a fully intact immune system, and with a little help, we can ride this storm together. If anything happens today for you, primarily what I'd love you to get out of this conversation is some peace and some comfort. I think it's very easy to subscribe to the madness that's going on out there. But understand that we can make a choice about how we react, how we behave, the things we choose to do or not do. And a great deal of comfort can be gotten by just taking a deep breath, as I encourage with lots of my meditation in my 3 E's program, and just really tune into what feels like the next right thing for you. Whatever that next right thing is, it may not be running around stocking up on toilet paper. It may not be running around worrying about what's going to happen next. Folks, we have been here before. We've been here many times. The path in humanity from the earliest days to present day has really been that journey all along. And we figured it out every time. So I would say, try not to add additional stress to your day. Try to just calm yourself and put beautiful things around you, things that matter, your family, a glass of wine. Yes, a glass of wine from the Eat Clean lady. The things that help you heal and recover. So yesterday, after posting something so simple, at least in my mind, something so simple as bone broth, it kind of exploded. So once again, welcome to my kitchen. It's Tosca Reno. I'm in my element in my kitchen. It gives me great peace and calm, and I'm even more in my element when I get to share what I love with you. That's my passion. And I want you to just make a little note to me, send a heart, tell me where you're listening from. And if you're listening later, which is totally fine because it's Saturday, would you please just put a little hashtag replay so I know that you're listening at a later date. I have answered many, many of your questions. I'm just going to turn off the stove here. The camera can follow me for a second. Look at that. That is another batch of bone broth. And you can see it's just boiling away. So I'm going to bring it down to a simmer for a minute. I've been a busy girl. And the camera's going to go right back here. Thank you. Because what I realized yesterday was some of you needed to know a couple more details about the bones. First of all, the bones are called marrow bones. And you can get those either at a local grocer or look for an organic variety wherever you go, even in your grocery store or a butcher. I actually have access to grass-fed bones from someone that I know who raises their own cattle and does a humane slaughter at the right time of year. I know that sounds like a horrible word, and it really kind of is, but when it's humanely done and we give thanks, we don't take more than we need, we just take what we need. Anyway, so I have access to those, but do look around. And now I realize that, okay, so we put those bones in the oven, the temperature is 350 degrees, and I just coated them with a bit of this beautiful gray salt. You can use pink salt too. I use Celtic salt, once again, because it has less microplastics in it. Better for us. And then I also put in some peppercorns just to roast the bones, and then some fresh rosemary, and I put that in the oven at 350 degrees for 1 hour. Once they were all roasted, all of that stuff, all of the juice, the fat, everything, the bones, it all goes into that big soup pot, which You know, I was joking with one of you, hilarious. I think I need a cauldron because I make so much bone broth, and my pot, I've outgrown it. Regardless, here's a smaller, I decanted a smaller pot. There you go. And, you know, you can see the steam coming off of this, and it smells incredible. I'm putting this on my stone counter, don't worry. And the next question you had was, well, okay, once you've boiled it for all those hours, what am I supposed to do with the broth? So you set yourself up with a mason jar, okay? So your mason jar is clean and sterile. Perfect. Don't put your fingers on it. I've got my fingers on the outside, not the inside. And I've sterilized it with hot water. And then I set the funnel inside. So the funnel helps me pour more accurately into the jar. And then, because I don't want all the gunk like that, in my broth, I set my fine mesh sieve, it's quite fine as you can see, over top of my funnel. And I set it down so that I know that I'm safe. And then I use a measuring cup, whatever works for you. If you're super steady with your pour, you can simply just use the pot, but that may be a little bit difficult. Yeah, a little bit difficult. But basically what happens is I will be pouring stuff on the floor and I will be filtering into my jar like that. Okay, so you want the heat. You want the, I'm going to just put a little bit into my measuring cup to show you again. Yep, there we go. All right, there we go. Now let's watch that one more time. Okay, so I've got my funnel. So I've got my funnel set up and my fine mesh sieve set on top of the funnel. And now I'm going to pour my broth into the mason jar, which I've already sterilized. And what happens is all the gunk filters out. So the stuff that you don't want in your jar filters out, and you basically have a clean broth. So you will do that until you've used up all of your liquid broth. Now, some people do say that you can do another boil. So you've used up all your broth, you put it in the jars. You can see I've got my line up here. They're cooling down. Actually, I want to show you something. You can see in this first pour, I'm calling it the first pour, that there's a layer of fat here. This fat is important. Do not skim it off. Oh, I got to get my pointy finger out of the picture. Okay, my mother used to point her finger at me all the time. It wasn't cute. However, I just wanted to point, okay, I'll point that way. This fat needs to stay on top of your broth. Why is that? Because it creates a seal. And that seal plugs your jar and protects this bone broth on the inside. So when you go to use your bone broth at a later date, what will happen is you'll need to break that seal and then pour your liquid off. And if you have a good broth, you won't even be able to pour it because it'll be like gelatin. It's pretty spectacular. So, so I did a first boil, right? And that is the broth off of my first boil. Now I'm doing this second boil with this little pot and that bigger one over there. And what I'm doing is I added more water, and then I had to add more acid, remember, because it's the acid that actually moves the minerals out of the bones. And you can do a second boil. You can even do a third boil. And the stage you want to get to is so that your bones are actually breaking down. And so every time that you put fresh water in that pot, every time you do a fresh boil, you've got to add a little bit more vinegar so you can pull out the minerals. I was very touched by the messages that came to me over the course of yesterday. It actually makes me quite emotional. So many of you were thankful just for that moment of peace in your life where you could say, you know what, thank you for teaching me how to make bone broth. Thank you for teaching me how to do something good for myself. Thank you for teaching me how to do something that has been practiced by traditional peoples for centuries, and putting that in my life, because the energy of that is very calming, it's very nourishing, it's healing. And this is what I wanted to share with you. And I think it hit the mark. I think it did, because actually the madness out there is insane. I was at, well, I wasn't at, but I heard a story about someone in my local Walmart who, there was a fight at the Walmart over water. And apparently someone was arrested, and then someone else was taken out on a stretcher. And here's what I have to say about that. Those people are operating out of fear, and I'm very sorry for them, because we don't have to operate out of fear. This is not a fearful situation. We have been here before. The paranoia sets in when we are not in a good place within ourselves. And I would encourage you to look for the peace and calm within yourself. If you've been doing the work, if you've been eating clean and exercising and taking care of your head heart space, you know that you are in a good place to withstand this disease or any other that comes along, because your first line of defense is already within you. And spiritually, when your energy is positive like that, when you can tap into your higher self, your greater self, and give thanks for your powerful immune system, and give thanks for the way that you can fight off disease, and give thanks for your brain and your heart, so you know these are the steps I can take, then you have a far greater chance of being able to fight off this and any other disease. And this is what I think is so important for you. So go ahead and make that bone broth today. I've got another probably 12 cups right there simmering away. I wanted to share one more thing with you, a very potent food in its own right. Many of us have been, can I get this right? There, camera angles, right? Are always so terrified about coconut oil, because we've heard from, say, you know, old heart reports, heart association reports, that there's something wrong with coconut oil. But I have to tell you this. Coconut oil is antibacterial, antiseptic, and it's also antiviral. It's one of the very few fats that is antiviral. So if you want to up your immune defense against viruses, this is a very powerful thing to add to your diet. You can cook with it. It has a high smoke point, so you can add it to a hot pan. You can spread it on hot toast if you want to. I would encourage you to think about doing sourdough toast, but you'll want to have coconut oil in your regimen to keep you healthy as well. Look, you know, again, we were born with an immune system that we have the pharmacy within us. We have the entire pharmacy within us. In fact, there are so many complicated and powerful, amazing immune fighters in our body. One of them is so strong that when it encounters a pathogen is anything that is, you know, against us. Pathos, illness, against us. Pathogen. It actually causes hydrogen peroxide to be squirted into that pathogen, and it kills it. That's what hydrogen peroxide does. That's incredible to me. That's incredible. We have our entire pharmacy within us. So if we can remind ourselves to put the good stuff in, the extra virgin coconut oil, the beautiful bone broth complete with the fat, which you can cook with that fat as well. Do not remove that fat until you absolutely need to. With salt. Salt is a food in its own right. Put that salt in your body. Local honey, right, confers immunity to your body simply by providing the antigens or the antibodies from the local area into your system just by eating honey. And honey is also sterile. So I encourage you to take comfort from knowing that God did not create you with a broken system. He didn't create you with no shield against disease. He created you with a full complement of tools to be able to help fight disease and stay strong. And if you can absolutely help yourself by doing all of these things, you will be fine. So please take a deep breath. I encourage you to a little meditation. I posted yesterday a letter to my immune system on Facebook. You might want to read that. It's kind of interesting how it works. Your job now is really take a deep breath. Share this message, this video with someone you love. Calm, calm, calm your fear. You have, as my tattoo says, everything within you, infinite power to be able to heal and weather the storm. And I would say that the universe right now is asking us with a forcing function really, to stop, to take a breath, to remember what's important about being human, to breathe deeply and know spring is around the corner and that your loved ones are with you. My daughter's going to be arriving soon. I can't wait to hug her. These are the things that matter. The universe is asking us to go back to that. It's saying stop. Stop everything. Just stop everything. And take a deep breath. Take a deep, deep breath and be present here now for yourself. Okay? So please stay tuned. I am next going to be making some incredible, that's not even a, here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be making some paleo loaf. I've got my groceries ready, so I will probably put the camera on again because paleo loaf is a wonderful, nutritious food that keeps very well in the kitchen. And also while I'm in the kitchen, I feel very calm when I'm making these things. So thank you so much. Please share this video. You can just tag the person's name in a comment so they can hear this message too. It's like giving you permission to just chill out, to just chill, because I want you here in your highest and best self, and I want to be here because my passion is your wellness. I want to be here to serve you. So stick around. I will be coming live again from my little teeny tiny kitchen in my little teeny tiny log cabin that's over 200 years old, but it's home and I feel safe and we're all going to be okay. God bless you all. Thanks for listening. Share with a friend. Send me some hearts and love and send me your questions. I'll be weighing in very, very soon. All right. Take care. God bless.